Hello, my dear students. Welcome to Pratap.Palya YouTube channel. In this class, I am going to teach you class 10th Social Science History, Chapter 1, The Advent of Europeans. In this class, we are going to learn on these main topics: trade relationship India and Europe. Constantinople was called the gateway of European trade. Fall of Constantinople, new sea route to India, European trade companies in India. Trade and commerce relationship between India and the Europe existed since ancient time. Indian spices such as pepper, cumin, cardamom, ginger and various commodities were in great demand in Europe. There was no direct link between India and Europe at the time. The trade was carried out at three levels. First, the Arabian merchants would buy Asian goods and carry them to Constantinople, the capital city of the ancient Roman Empire. Next, Italian merchants would buy these goods from Arabs and then sell in European countries. So that the Constantinople was the center of international business and considered as the gateway of European trade. But Ottoman Turks captured the Constantinople in 1453 so that the trade routes were closed for the Europeans. Some of the European countries like Spain and Portugal wanted to break the monopoly of Italian merchants over the trade by establishing direct trade link with India. So they started encouraging courageous sailors to find a sea route to India. At the same time, the invention of compass, astrolabes, and gunpowder compass inspired navigators to explore the sea and discovered a new sea route to India. A Portuguese sailor, Vasco da Gama, left Lisbon and reached Kapadu near Calicut on the west coast of India in 1498, making the Portuguese the first European merchants to reconnect India with Europe. And later, Dutch, French, and English trading companies arrived in India to do trade. Portuguese were the first to arrive in India for trade and were also the last to leave India by the sea route. After Vasco da Gama, Francisco de Almeida arrived in India as their viceroy. He implemented the blue water policy to establish supremacy over the sea. Alfonso de Albuquerque, who arrived after him, is considered to be the real founder of Portuguese Empire in India. He waged a battle against the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510, owned Goa, and made it the administrative center of the Portuguese administration in India. The Dutch belonged to Holland or the Netherlands. They established the United East India Company in 1602 to do trade business with eastern countries and entered countries such as India, Java, Sumatra, Indonesia. They established warehouses in Surat, Bruj, Cambay, Cochin, Nagapattinam, Masalipattinam, and other places in India. Later, unable to face competition from the English and the French, the Dutch limited themselves to the Spice Islands in Indonesia. Their control declined further with the entry of the British traders. On 31st December 600, Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to do trade with the eastern countries for 15 years. The East India Company started the business formally in the year 1613. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission to the English to establish their first factory at Surat. In 1617, Sir Thomas Roe arrived at Jahangir's court as the royal ambassador from the court of James I and got permission to establish factories in the other places controlled by the Mughals. The British East India Company established their factories at Agra, Ahmedabad, and Bruj. In 1639, the English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri and established the St. George Fort. In 1668, Charles II, the Prince of England, gave Bombay at an annual rent of £10 a year to the East India Company. In 1690, the England purchased three villages, namely Sutanuti, Calcutta, and Govindapura on the banks of Ugly River and built the Fort William. By the 17th century, the England had established Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta as the center of their presidencies. By the part of the 18th century, the English declared Calcutta to be their capital city, establishing their control completely. The French East India Company started as a government owned company in 1664 and established its first factory in Surat in 1668. Later, they established their factories in Machilipattanam, Chandranagore, Mahe, Karaikal, Kasim Bazar, and Balasore. In 1674, the French took Valikondapuram from a local Muslim official and developed it as a major trade center named Puducherry or Pondicherry, which later became their capital. Dupleix, who arrived in India as the Governor General of the French, wanted to establish the French as the major power in South India, and his ambitions led to Carnatic Wars with the English. The competition between the English and the French, Carnatic Wars, Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. We will discuss it in next video.